September the 24th, 2025. Look, I about to say June. What the world going on? First things first, let me know y'all thoughts on today's new episode down below. What y'all think? Did y'all like the episode? Look, the end, it got me. The end, it got me. I was like, what he about to do to Doug? I was like, what he about to do to Doug? Hold on. Yeah, the end, it got me, y'all. I like the way they did that there. I do. I said, okay, first we're going to do a quick summary, and then we're going to dive into the review. I said, well, Doug gone, or from the looks of it, he gone. We don't know because they didn't actually show it. I'm hoping that they show us if something actually happened to him. But Malone ended up telling him how he doesn't need money where he's going. I said, everybody just laying with the enemy. First Ted with Leslie, now Vanessa with Joey. Doug had called Vanessa before all this transpired and basically told her, he sees how he went wrong with the whole gambling situation and everything. So Joey intentionally, before this part of the scene even happened, and she picked up their phone, like Doug or whatever, he tried to call her up off the doggone phone. What's it called? What did they say back in the day? What did they say back in the day? Dog, can't remember what they said back in the day. But yeah, he tried to get her off the phone first. So then, after that didn't work, then he went outside. So after he seen she wasn't following him, he decided to come back in. So they still talking or whatever. She was like, I'm so glad to hear you say that or whatever and everything. So then next thing you know, I forgot what he said to her, but he said something to her so that Doug could hear his voice. And he was like, you with him or whatever? He started freaking out. Oh, we ain't supposed to do the review. I'm supposed to be doing a summary. Hold on, wait. But yeah, Doug called Vanessa basically saying how he sees how he went wrong. Joy said something so Doug could hear him. Derek gonna get caught slipping eventually. He ended up telling Ashley that there's no change. He ended up giving her the ring. Jacob back at it with Malone or whatever. He's no longer on desk duty. Or whatever. And I said, don't you worry. Well, don't you worry. He about to commit another crime. I said, to add on to the long list of crimes he done already committed. But yeah, he was just going back and forth with him. What else? I said, did y'all see how June was staring at Ted? I said, what's going on here now? I said, now I can't choose. I don't know who to choose to be a couple, y'all. Now I see some people rooting for June and Ted. I was like, wait now, y'all, who we gonna choose? I don't know. But yeah, the way she was looking at him, I thought she was gonna end up revealing who she is or said something and he connected the dots or something like that. I said, Ted just don't know nothing, dude. He don't know that ain't they his grandkids? That's his grandkids' mama. I said, he just out the loop completely. And I think the last thing that happened, let me see. I said Naomi had lost her rings, but June ended up finding them at the end of the episode. And I was like, what did y'all think of the ending of this episode? But now we're finna dive into the review. Okay, like I was saying at first, the end, it got me, y'all. I was like, oh my goodness, they ain't actually show what happened to him. But y'all know Jacob's supposed to be calling Vanessa saying that something has happened, and Joey's supposed to be at the back of her, in bed with her, looking and stuff. I said, you know what you did, whatever you did. Now, people saying that he gone. People saying that Joey had him murdered because he was texting back and forth with Malone or whatever. And I said, oh, see, you should have kept your mouth closed. Now, it is partially his fault because, for one, he the one was gambling, and I still say that Joey planned this. I don't know. I think he just wanted to move that money through her doggone business. But yeah, but he kept running his mouth or whatever, like he in control and stuff, threatening folks like this man ain't running around murdering people and stuff. Then I know he was drunk on this episode, so I'm trying to give him a pass. But I was like, once you seen Malone walk up in, I said, you supposed to be dipped up out of there. So I said, oh, it's you. I said, he must be out of it or something. I know when they showed him at the end of the episode, it was showing everything blurry or whatever. I said, did he put something in his drink? Because remember, he was like, I just thought about that. I didn't write that part down. He was like, let me get you another drink. And when they showed Doug at the end of the episode, he had won all this money. Or whatever, and he had it, and he started slowly taking it out his hand or whatever. He's like, hey, what you doing with my money? He's like, you don't need money, where you going? So I was like, maybe it didn't happen like that, y'all. Maybe he's still alive. I was like, nah, he gone, ain't it? He gone, ain't it? I said, don't got Doug. Oh, my goodness. I was like, no. But yeah, I said, you might make it seem like a car accident or something. That's probably how he did something to his drink. I'm assuming he did something to his drink. That's why he offered to go get him another one. But yeah, so, okay. They started off with Vanessa and Joey. And she on vacation with him or whatever. And they just having a conversation. She was like, this is the first time she ever paid the bad. It's the first time she's been away from Doug or whatever. Yeah, do you get points for that? Oh, what the world going on? I was like, girl, it don't matter if you went on vacation. They might as well go on vacation. All the things you done did. That's the least of your worries. This man running around trying to murder people, allegedly, because we don't know. But yeah, they on vacation. She told my son, this is the first time that, she's done something like this and left Doug behind. And I said, pick a side now. Pick a doggone side now. You either want him or you don't. And I said, he over here, he's trying to get her for himself until she realizes what he done did. But yeah, I was like, girl. So she was just talking about that. He told me, so he want her to take the ring off. He need her to be fully there or whatever. And at first she was like, no, or whatever. She don't want to do that. But she eventually ended up taking it off, y'all. And the way they was talking about marriage, and they showed her ring on the table or whatever, and then they showed Doug and Malone or whatever. I said, I like the way they did that. I definitely do. But yeah, it's like laying with the doggone enemy. But we're gonna come back to you. We're gonna come back to her. Doug was at the Joey place trying to play cards. That's the second mess up. Like I said yesterday. I don't know. Did I do a review yesterday? Yeah, I think Monday was the day I didn't do no review. Now, if you don't got into it with this man sleeping with your wife, last time you was here, you seen them all up against the doggone wall. Why would you take your tail back there to my son? You got invited to a high-stakes game. Where did it lead you? Where did it lead you? He told me he got invited to a high-stakes game. Oh, that's it. Doug ain't. Doug, come on now. I know you over here drinking yourself to death or whatever, literally. But at the same time, it's like, what's wrong with this man? Yeah, so I was like, I had been hearing for a while, people been saying that Joey was going to have him up out of there or whatever. And Bill did tell her she playing a dangerous game. Now look, we don't know until we see tomorrow's episode. I'm assuming, what's tomorrow, Thursday? Episode Friday, because apparently they skipping days. Because yesterday we seen Danny now, but this day we didn't see him. But yeah, what else? Let's see. Doug was trying to play cards. Nobody was there except the dealer dude. And I was looking for Malone because I remember seeing him on the promo talking to him, but he hadn't showed up yet. He was too busy talking to Jacob and Naomi. Derek and Ashley were just talking. She ends up revealing that Naomi had questions and concerns because, she did a 180. She suddenly wants to marry him or whatever. And she was like, I'm right where I want to be and stuff. I said, liar. I said, liar, hands on fire. I said, you lying? Derek know you lying. Wait, I said the wrong. How do I say it? I was like, you lying. You know you lying. Naomi know you lying. Jacob know you lying. And Derek know you lying. That's why he was looking. That's why he hit the ring with it. I said, doggone well, she don't want you. Not like that anyways. But yeah, they were just talking about that. Malone said that he got a new partner and he gonna see if he could get that person to be his partner forever or whatever. Jacob is off desk duty. I said, dog, he ain't stay on desk duty long, did he? It has been a while though. It has been a while. I said, right on time. I said, don't you worry. I said, he already finna commit a doggone crime, another crime. So you definitely gonna end up putting them away, but at the same time, half your family gonna just I said, half your family, you take him there, you have half of your wife's family anyways going to jail. And not to mention your daddy. I was like, look, that's the thing about it though. See, should have never, what they said, should have never laid down with these folks. But yeah, they was just going back and forth and stuff. Joey wants Vanessa to take off the ring. She eventually does it. June ends up telling Naomi that she won't be telling her kids' business when they open up to her because she wanted to know what Samantha was talking about. She was like, no, she's not going to do that. I said, okay, June, I like you, June. So far, so good now. So far, so good, but we'll see. We'll see. What happened? Look, I think it was getting so good out of this start right now stuff. I stopped, y'all. I started right about Ted, and I think Naomi had left. Hold on. I was wondering what was going to happen to Doug or whatever, so I got distracted. I wrote down the way June looking at Ted. Did y'all see that? I said, what they trying to prove here? I don't know who to root for. I wanted him back with Nicole, but since he want to be foolish, I don't know. I said, June, you better watch yourself because his other side piece, I mean, not his other side piece, but the crazy wig lady over here going to mess you up now. But yeah, the way she kept looking at him and stuff, I thought for sure she was going to end up mentioning something. But he's so out the loop, he probably don't even know what has happened about the whole Samantha and Terrell situation. I said, they really don't tell him nothing, do they? But yeah, what else? Let's see. Ashley told Derek that she told Naomi she want to be right there with him, and they was just kissing and everything. Jacob ends up noticing that Naomi's ring's gone, and they were searching for it. They couldn't find it. She was upset. He was telling her it's just, metal or whatever. You ain't got to worry about that, but she was freaking out. June ended up being the one to find it. I was like, at first I was like, what they trying to prove here? I said, come on now. Everybody on the doggone show can't be, divorced or being in trouble or anything like that now. I said, somebody got to stay a couple. I was like, wait now. Because I know we've been talking about Jacob and Kat and stuff like that. We have been talking about them. And once again, if you didn't know, they bringing on a new guy. So there's that. But y'all say, now, come on now. Everybody breaking up. Golly now. But yeah, I'm thinking that they did that in there to just talk about marriage and stuff like that. Cause then they started going back and forth between people talking about marriage, and then they showed Joey and Vanessa in bed together. Then they showed Doug and Malone. I was like, oh, Doug, pull Doug out of there. He's gone. What else? Let me see. Let me see. Jacob noticed his name. Marine's gone. Doug called Vanessa. Joey wanted Doug to hear him. We already talked about that. He was like, he wanted to know what type of wine she liked. She was like, basically, do you think I'm a fool? I said, yes. You are. You are. Because the man, he done been threatening her indirectly, telling her if she ever crossed him again, what he gonna do to her or whatever. He done pretty much told you what you walking into. So I don't understand, like, I don't understand. She told me, so you think basically, you think I'm a fool? Yes, you are. You are a fool, actually. Well, yeah. Then next thing you know, she done went put on some doggone lingerie and stuff. And I think Malone had texted him saying, start the countdown. I said, what you about to do to this man? Somebody start the countdown. Next thing you know, he walk in there, she done went put on some doggone lingerie. I said, this your problem now? This how we partially got in this situation. I know the other part is because of Doug. I said, because you want to be hiding the pants and stuff. Now your husband dead, allegedly. Because we don't know. They over here rolling in bed while he over here doing whatever he finna do to Doug and stuff. I said, what the world going on? But yeah, he over here. I said, I don't know if he want her or he just want her business or all of the above. I don't know. Either way it go, he gonna get caught slipping. He's gonna get caught slipping some type of way. But yeah, what else? Let's see. I know what I skipped over. Derek and Ashley. She said she had to go help the neighbor or something. So he had dropped the ring. He was trying. I don't know if he was trying to hide it or prepare or what. But he had dropped it and he was trying to get up and stuff like that to get it. He couldn't. She came in. I said, you came in at the wrong time. I said, you came in at the wrong time. You supposed to be caught him. So she was like, what's going on here? She sees the ring. She's like, oh, is that my ring? I said, now it's your ring, huh? I said, now it's your ring, huh, girl? So then she was like, but how did you get over? I'm assuming she's saying, like, how did the whole, because he said he was trying to reach for it. He said he's trying to get it, if I'm not mistaken, that's what he said. So I was like, yeah, girl, use your brain now. I said, he lying. He's a liar. And Shanice can't say nothing. I think they said on tomorrow's episode, she struggles. I said, don't struggle, girl. Don't lose your job. Because Ashley, she walked into this mess. She definitely did. I said, don't lose your job, girl. But yeah, so then he ends up putting it on her ring. He ends up putting it on her finger or whatever. They kiss, and then they started almost doing the do. I said, yeah, get on his leg so you can see him say ouch or something. Bump his leg or something, girl. I was hoping she bumped his leg or something or dropped someone. But then she was like, we don't have to rush it. We got plenty of time to do that. So she was just laying on him, and she looked so unsure. She looked unsure. She looks unsure. Well, yeah, what else? Let's see. They put the ring on Ashley's finger. June found Naomi ring. She ended up telling her. They came back. They had got it from her. Ted. I think June had showed Ted. And Ted was like, maybe somebody left it on purpose because, they done with the marriage. I said, you just done with your marriage. I said, it's your own fault. I said, I don't understand. I think he said something the other day. And I was like, how you gonna say that like this ain't your fault? This your fault. Or maybe it was this episode when he was talking to her and talking about marriage and stuff like that. And I was like, you did this. You set all this in motion. It was bad enough that you cheated. And apparently he had did it multiple times because that's what he said originally. You got her pregnant or whatever. Then when she came to town on Roost and stuff, you still didn't tell the truth. Then you sleep with her. And that's exactly what I said at the beginning of this. I was like, somebody on this show always sleeping with the enemy. First Ted with Leslie and now Vanessa with Joey. So they just be sleeping with the enemy. What else? Let's see. Malone, like I said, Doug had won his money or whatever. He convinced him to stay. And not only that, he was like, let me get you another drink. I said, he must have put something in his drink. He had to put something in his drink. So he put down a stack of money and stuff. He encouraged him to stay. I said, no, Doug, get up out of there. I said, go, Doug, why you still got a chance? I mean, they could find him either way it go. But yeah, I was like, go on now, save yourself. I said, run. But no. So he was like, where'd everybody go? I said, he is good as dead. He is good as gone. He told us, where'd everybody go? So next thing you know, he started picking up his money, thinking he about to go somewhere. He's like, hey, that's my money. And Malone was like, you don't need money, where you going? I said, they done got him. I said, he gone. But I think that was it, y'all. I think that was the last thing. If not that part, it was them rolling in bed together. But yeah, I think that was it. He said, you don't need money, where you going? I said, they done got him. I said, He had already went. First of all, Randy's still in town, so they gonna have to get him too. They gonna have to take him up out of there too. He had already went to Jacob saying he know information. Bill snitch and tell. Bill don't snitch the stuff. I was like, they gonna put two and two together, especially Jacob. He'll be suspicious, but he won't solve no cases. Get Cat on the case. She'll find it, y'all. She'll discover everything. Gone know. He talking about something. He got a new partner. Well, Cat could be your new partner. But that's it, y'all. That's all. Let me know y'all thoughts on this episode down below. Stay tuned for the next review. Until next time, this is